Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, LaShonda Bianca, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how I created this 613 frontal wig from scratch. I love the way this hair turned out. You guys recently saw how I toned the hair, but now I'm going to show you guys how I created the wig. So if you're interested in seeing, make sure you keep watching. Okay, so first I'm just going to start by showing you all the materials you will need to make this wig. I used a mesh dome wig cap that I got from the beauty supply store. It was about $1 or so. I also used a white eyeliner pencil. This can be substituted for a metallic Sharpie marker, but I just used what I had to draw my guidelines. I also used needle and thread in the color blonde. If you're using black hair, you're definitely going to want to use black thread instead. And lastly, just the bundles you'll need for your wig. I also used hair clips and T-pins as well for this video. Okay, so my next step is going to be pinning the frontal down onto the mesh dome cap. This part is the part that takes me the longest because this part has to be right in order for your wig to fit. So I'm just going to begin by centering the frontal onto the mesh dome cap as well as possible. And then I'm going to pull it down about ½ inch in front of the mesh dome cap. Some people like to pull it down from ½ inch to 2 inches. Me personally, I'm just going to pull it down ½ inch and put a pin right in the front to hold it in place. As you guys can see, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a close-up here. And then I'm going to go to the back of the frontal and pin it down in the back as well. When you're pinning down your frontal, you want to make sure that you pull the frontal tight, not too tight, because your frontal will rip. Take it from somebody who knows, and we don't want that. So you just want to pull it down tightly on the sides in a vertical manner. And yeah, so once you get that pin down, you're all set to go. Don't feel bad if you didn't get it your first try, because like I said, this is what takes me the longest every time I make a wig. If you pinned your frontal down correctly, the front of it should look like the letter M. I'm using my finger to show you the outline of the shape. So once my frontal is nice and pinned down, I'm going to start drawing my guidelines to go across the mesh dome cap. So the guidelines are just there really to keep me on track while I'm actually sewing the tracks onto the cap, because I know sometimes I can just get out of whack. So the guidelines just help to keep everything in order and keep it flat. So what I'm doing is taking my thumb and I'm literally just tracing the top part of my thumb horizontally all the way across. So there's a thumb space in between every one of those white lines. Okay, so now when I'm at the top of the dome cap, I'm going to switch fingers and switch to my pointer finger. And now I'm going to draw almost like a half oval right there on that line using my my pointer finger. So I'm going to try to show you guys. Y'all, this is literally the most difficult video I've ever had to film. One, because I don't have a stand, so I was just trying to hold the styrofoam head in my lap. Then I'm balancing my camera on my makeup bag, and y'all, it was just so much, but I got it done. At the end, your mesh dome cap should look like this. Next, I'm going to tie a knot at the end of my needle on the thread. I had about 4 needles, so I went ahead and thread all of those to keep the process going a little smoother. And I'm going to begin sewing my frontal onto my mesh dome cap. Now, disclaimer, I do not do hair. I am not a weavologist. I'm just LaShonda Bianca and I can slay my hair. So this is just how I sewed my frontal down. This is not the only way to sew your frontal down. I'm not even saying this is the right way to sew your frontal down, but this is how I sewed my frontal down. So if you'd like to see, just keep watching. So it was just really a learning experience, but I did like the way my wig turned out and thought it'd be cool to share it with you guys. Okay, so for my sewing method, I'm going through the lace and then through the mesh dome cap, pulling the needle through tightly and repeating. So once again, I'll show you through the lace, through the mesh dome cap, and I'm pulling the thread through. When it comes to sewing my bundles onto my wig, I usually double weft the first bundle and then single weft the rest. I'm going to show you guys how I start the knot of the thread. So basically I go through the dome cap and through the track. And then in a second, you'll be able to see me split the thread in half and put the needle in the middle. And then I pull the needle through. So that's basically my process for whenever I'm starting a new track. I'm just going to continue now with going through the mesh dome cap and then through the track to sew the actual track onto the hair. If at any point in this video you think it's going a little too fast, make sure you pause, rewind, watch as many times as you need. But you guys, all the information is right here. So I'm just going through the mesh dome cap and then through the weft. So right here, I'm just showing you what it looks like so far with me sewing the tracks onto my guidelines. Looks pretty good to me. It's going to be a pretty flat install. The rest of this video is basically repeating those steps I just went over. You're going to be following those guidelines, going through the mesh dome cap and then through the track. And then you're just going to pull your thread through tightly, but not too tight because you don't want to put a hole in the mesh dome cap nor pop your thread. So you guys can just keep watching to see how the rest of this wig turns out. And just FYI, the way I end my knot is I loop it around the needle about 3 times or twice, and then I'll pull it through and I'll tie a knot at the end. So this is basically me sewing on the last track at the top. I wanted to make sure I got it as tight as possible between the frontal and the first track because don't nobody want no gap showing in their wig. So I'm just securing this last track. And this is how my wig looks after I'm done making it. Of course, it still looks a little rough, but that's because it hasn't gone through any styling. The black mesh cap insert right there that I'm holding, I cut all that excess off and I just apply my frontal as I would any other hair unit. So if you guys really enjoyed this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up, share this video. This is how the hair looks, well, the wig looks on my head. I think it looks so dope. It was so cute in Miami, like I was just getting compliments out my ass. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Thank you guys for watching. Enjoy my dancing, and I'll see you in my next one. Deuces.
Okay.